Hey team, welcome to another Bullpen Bulletin with Coach Hart and Building Better Baseball. Today is for coaches, and we're going to go over the four most popular, widely known coaching styles, and we're going to go over which one is best specifically for youth baseball players. So there are four just main, widely known coaching styles that all coaches kind of use. So there is, I think, one best coaching style for youth baseball, but also there's one best approach for youth baseball players, and we're going to go over that today. Remember, I'm Coach Hart. This is Building Better Baseball. This is the best place for baseball education. So let's get into these coaching styles. All right, the four coaching styles. First, we're going to cover the four different common coaching styles in this video. And the first one is called Autocratic. The second one is called Laissez-faire. Third one is called Democratic. And the fourth one is called Holistic. All right. After that, we're going to quickly cover the three most common learning styles of children or youth players or anything. And we're going to try to match up those coaching styles to the learning styles because I believe that is where you get the best growth and the most development in your players. And then lastly, we're going to cover what I think is the best style and approach to use with youth baseball players. So the first one, the autocratic style. The autocratic coaching style refers to the coach basically having complete control over everything, right? They control practice plans and the team and everything like that, right? So they control practice and game planning. They control the drills that they do. They control the players' development and how they think it's best for the players and everything. The one thing that's kind of a downside to this style is they often don't seek input or ideas from their players or even other coaches, right? So they think that it's almost like I know everything and I know what's best for everybody, but they don't really accept input from their own players or parents or coaches or anything like that. So that is one downside of this coaching style. And these coaches normally expect a high level of execution and discipline from their team, which can be a good thing, right? So a high level execution, a high level of discipline can be good for youth players. And also, one could also assume that they focus on winning as a cornerstone of success, as almost like a measurement of success, where if they are not winning, that means they're not being successful. And if they are winning, that means they're successful. When I believe that there are many other factors that contribute to being successful, and winning is not just one of them, right? The laissez-faire style, the second one. The laissez-faire coach is one who is just laid back, right? And he goes with the flow. All right. They are open to all input and often they let players make many decisions about practices and the games, like kind of et cetera, right? They don't want to be looked at as that hard-nosed coach who nobody's having fun or anything like that. They open a lot of input and they almost like let the players run the team because they are just there. They're just kind of laid back and they just go with the flow, right? They are all about fun. Everything is about fun. Everything they do is centered around their players having a great experience, regardless of their season record, which can be really, really good for youth players. Because I believe that if you have the autocratic, like the winning at all costs and everything, that could be a little detrimental for youth players. But the laissez-faire, they're all about fun. They don't really care what their record is. They just want to have a good time and make sure that their players are having a good experience, which can be a good thing, right? In extreme cases, the development even takes a back seat to the fun, right? So at the extreme case of the laissez-faire, they may not even engage in trying to develop their players into better baseball players. They're just all about having fun. They might play like, tag games like all practice, right? Or do different things that aren't really associated with baseball. They're just trying to make sure that their team has fun. So that is one downside of the laissez-faire style is that the development is not always there with this type of coach. The democratic style, the third one, right? The democratic coach is a coach who is a mix of the autocratic and the laissez-faire when it comes to control of the team and control of everything, right? They draw up the plans for practices and games, but they welcome ideas and input from their players and they value their opinions. That is so important for youth players to make sure that they know that their coach believes in them and they value their opinions. They are open to the players coming to them with new ideas and things that might work for them, and the coach will implement them, right? They seek to build a collaborative culture with their team, and they thrive when their team, parents, and coaches are working synergistically. So they're all about collaboration. They're all about everybody working together synergistically to ultimately make the best for the team, right? So that is the democratic style. It's kind of a mixture of the first two. And they're all about collaboration. They're open from input from their players and everything. I think this is a really good style to have. The last one is a holistic style. All right. The holistic coach is one who puts players' growth mentally, physically, and emotionally at the center of their coaching philosophy. All right. They want to see their players mature in all areas as a human being. So the holistic coach, they may not do a total focus on player development and winning and games and planning and everything, but they are there almost as like a mentor, a counselor, everything. They are really, really focused on making sure that their players who they are coaching, that they grow into positive and successful human beings as a whole, right? And like we talked about, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And their practice plans, their activities, and overall approach is geared toward making their players better human beings. All right. Now, before we get into what's best, we're going to go over the player learning styles, the three most popular player learning styles, so we can kind of match everything up, right? And before we get into what style is best, it's important to be aware of the three common learning styles. All right, the first one is visual. So players who are visual learners, this player learns best by seeing and watching, right? Through demonstrations or visual cues or boards or pictures or anything that they can see visually. That is how they learn best. So that is one type of learning style. The second one is verbal, right? This player learns best by listening and hearing, right? The verbal cues, the directions, the explanations, like anything verbal, when they hear you explaining everything, that is how they learn best, right? And the last one is physical, right? This player learns best by doing, right? They are mirroring your explanations and directions, and they're mirroring the action that they should do. They are acting, they are engaging, they use their body as a learning tool, and that is how they learn best, by actually doing the things and doing the drills and working through everything. So obviously players can have multiple little learning styles. One could be visual and physical, one could be verbal and visual, like they have different things, but these are the three most common learning styles that players and especially children go through when they are trying to learning a skill, right? So now getting into what's best. All right. If I had to choose one coaching style that's best for youth players, I would choose the democratic style. All right. This style, the democratic style, fits all learning styles and it emphasizes collaboration, which is really important for young kids, right? Young kids, they are super impressionable, but they also have an opinion. And I think it's really important because they are so young that it is important for the coach to let them know that their opinion matters and it's okay to voice their opinion and it will be accepted by the coach, right? Sometimes with an autocratic style, the player could voice their opinion, but it's not accepted, right? That doesn't do anything for the player and the player's growth, right? Sometimes with the laissez-faire, the player has all the control and they don't really have that kind of challenge or pushback from the coach of that collaborative work trying to figure out something together, and it's more like a player, just making the decisions for himself, right? The democratic style, it's a collaborative thing where the player voices their opinion, the coach says, I will take that into account. I respect your opinion and I value your opinion and I want you to keep telling me, but we will work together and figure out the best thing to do for your development and growth as a baseball player. So if I had to choose one, it would be the democratic style. All right. But however, I believe that the best approach for youth players is to incorporate all styles in your coaching. So I know that might sound kind of boring or like anticlimactic or whatever, but I think that all four of these coaching styles that we went over today are all very extreme cases and extreme levels of this type of coach. All right. And if you can find a way to incorporate little things from each style into your own coaching philosophy, I believe that is the absolute best approach for youth baseball players. And I'll get into it right now. From the autocratic style, you take the discipline, the structure, and the execution aspect, right? You don't take the total control aspect and you don't take the not valuing opinions and input, but you take the discipline part, the structure part, the execution part. that little piece of the autocratic style, you incorporate that into your coaching philosophy. From the laissez-faire, you take the fun, right? You take that fun aspect of the laissez-faire coach and you incorporate and you sprinkle fun in everything that you do, right? Although you're still disciplining and structuring and executing and everything like that, you have a little bit of fun in everything that you do because they are children. The fun is the essence of childhood, right? Having fun, right? So the laissez-faire style, take that fun aspect from it. The democratic style, the collaboration part. Take the collaboration part from the democratic style because you value and you accept input from players and other coaches. You're not doing it all yourself. You don't think that you know everything and you don't know what's best for everybody else. You're working synergistically and working together, collaborating and accepting input from everywhere to make the best for the team itself. All right. And then the last one, the holistic, you take the piece of helping players grow as human beings because when you are coaching youth baseball, we are more than just coaches. We are counselors, we're mentors. We are growing these young men and women into young adults, right? And we are making sure that they grow into not only better baseball players through their development, but we are helping them grow into better human beings who can be a successful and contributing member of society, right? Because only 1% makes it to the MLB, only 1% makes it to college, and all those stats, right? A lot of those stats mean that a lot of your kids are not going to make it to the highest level, right? So it's really important that we take that aspect of growing them as human beings from that holistic coaching style. So if your philosophy could incorporate these 4 things from each coaching style, you will be an amazing, successful coach for your players, who your players want to play for and want to keep coming back every single season. All right. Now, as we wrap up, I just want to go over, like I said, the coaching styles, the autocratic, laissez-faire, democratic, and holistic. Those are just 4 common coaching styles, but I believe that they are kind of extreme versions of each one. And if you could take a piece of each one that we talked about, and make that your coaching philosophy, you will be an amazing coach, and your kids, your players will love playing for you, and they will always stay with you season after season after season. Okay. So don't forget to grab your free guide. I have a whole bunch of them down in the description below. I have a practice plan, a free equipment sizing guide, a whole bunch of them down there. You can even see a link to all of my courses. If you want to take a deeper dive with me, you can click that link in the description. All the information is down in the description. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully this helped kind of shape your idea of what kind of approach you want to take with your team this season. So best of luck. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another video real soon.